Going live.
Welcome to the 1-year anniversary of the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Happy 1-year anniversary, people. It is the Inside. It is Inside Scoop. Sorry, we had to drop the. It's Inside Scoop, and
we made it.
How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
We made it. We made it through 1 year.
We made it. It's kind of crazy.
It did. You know, like a lot of things that you love doing all the time, that you look forward to. This really, I mean, it flew by.
Yes, definitely. I'm thinking like we've done this 6 months or something. You know, not a year.
Like wow, wow. Can you believe? You think it might have been 6 months already? Like no, we did 1 year, and I think we only missed 2 times. Did we miss? Or did we hit every single?
No, we did every. No, we did every single week. The only time that we had to.
Oh, we had to delay. We delayed it a day.
Well, we just actually we recorded early, and then so we missed a couple Wednesdays. We got some Wednesdays off because we recorded on Sundays. Remember? So
there was that was
the only time.
Times.
Yeah, that was the only time. But we never missed and even if we did the next day. But
that was the one time we did that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was man, it's been fun, man. It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I made sure I dressed for the occasion.
Yes. And
it's a big deal. So this is a big deal. Don't show up slouchy.
It is.
Dress code to get into this.
I'm sorry, but I had my little Bob Ross, shirt.
That's a fun shirt, man.
I had to put that on, and I saw you, so I had to put my jacket on as well. But
that's cool.
Yeah. So, man, let's. I'm just going to tell you for myself. So looking back at last year when this started, like the week that this started, I was moving into my new karate building, my new building, 5,000 square foot from like 2,000 square foot, had all kinds of things we were doing. I was starting a new job. I was working a resource position at an elementary school to teach martial arts in the elementary school. So I had those 2 things that were starting at the same time. Let's see. I was having 2 schools going on at the same time, so I was creating the dance as its own thing, and the
I remember you saying that. How'd that go for you?
Oh, it's going great. We're still going. And then then I decided, hey, let's do this as well. So
this is the coolest one.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So 4 new things at once. It was insane, man. But this kind of help me get all that energy out or maybe that stress out that you've had.
Speaking of stress, and then someone decides they want to go eat bat soup and mess everything up.
Oh God.
That's
Let's
all right.
Not get going to that.
Yeah, we're good. We're good. Inside Scoop is here.
Yeah.
Just so you know, Jeff, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking back on some of the best episodes that we've had.
Yes.
What is one of your favorite episodes that we did?
All right. Let's do the ones that weren't interviews. Okay.
I know that's what I'm thinking.
All right. And then we'll go into interviews. But we have some people as well, guys. We have some guests coming on. We have some past interviewers that are going to come on. We also had a couple of listeners that are going to come on, and then we're going to have Travis and maybe some other guys that pop on. So we're going to have a fun time today. So. Man, I mean, really, like us going on the first episode, I knew that, man, we got something here. This is going to be fun. That first month. After that, I was like, oh God, have I told all my stories yet? Like that was hard for me. Yeah, you told a bunch.
I haven't told all my stories, but I, for some reason, keep thinking I haven't told. I've retold like 4 of them, like 6 times.
Oh man, it's been a lot of fun. So,
but that's such an Alex Dingman thing to do. That here you go.
Correct.
Welcome.
Correct.
So I am.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't remember all the names of them, but I mean, I know telling the stories about the brawls was a fun one.
Which one? Well, what did you say?
Telling the stories about all the brawls and everything.
That was my favorite one.
Yeah.
Brawling was my favorite one.
Brawling was great. And
it was like episode 3.
Yes. And so
and we've had some good ones, but
those were good. And then you know what? Like I don't even know if it was really an episode, but I think we even talked about it, touched on our first episode. and now we've kind of been known as like the podcast or the media group that is all about pushing Korean forms. And so,
Good.
and how awesome.
Yeah,
Korean
that was
forms
episode 1.
Yeah. And
Korean
then from there,
forms.
we kept going and going and going. And, we did our kickers episode, which was a lot of fun. We did our interview with John Chung, which related with that,
I love how he, in such a nice way, all the kickers that we had high rank, he was like, oh yeah, they were pretty soft. They're not that good.
Yeah. Oh, dude. It was so much
John
fun.
Chung's the best. But he's the only one who could do it. He did it like the nicest way. Like,
Oh yeah.
John,
so I mean, those first ones are, been a lot of fun. I mean, every week's been fun, man. What about you? What are some that stand out? I know you said Brawlin.
Well, Brawlin, I think the traveling, what we talked about, just what it's like traveling from just when you have to go to tournaments, kind of what that's like.
Right.
But yeah, I like some of your competitors of the week.
Oh,
now
yes.
Here's the other thing. So Jeff Doss. First of all, everybody loves Jeff Doss. So if you're listening, we're live right now, and you're listening, chime in, all right? And chime in also. Raise your hand. Say, yeah, I love Jeff Doss too, because everybody does, all right? And sometimes he comes up with a competitor of the week, and he's like, I don't know. Alex, pick one for me. It's amazing. Hey, do we got a guest on with us right now? Do we got someone joining us?
Yes. Put your video on.
Let me figure it out, man. Hold on. Rookie. Here we go.
Yeah. Look at what it is.
Middleweight.
What's up, guys?
Man.
How we doing, man? Oh,
What's
look at
up?
you looking all sharp, dude.
I know,
Gaffer.
man.
I
Look
had
at
to
him.
show up, man. He's kidding me. It's the
Man.
birthday of Inside
Bruce
Scoop.
Buffer right here. Look at this guy, man. All tucked
Oh,
out.
man.
I like it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man. That's great. How you doing, my friend?
Doing pretty good. This is your anniversary. Is it 1 year now?
Yeah,
1
year. It's
Man.
kind of crazy. I know.
I know,
Zip
right?
by, yeah.
Yeah, we
Really
were
did.
just
Real
saying.
quick.
Yeah, real fast. So it's and we've done every week consistent, and man, it's been fun.
Yeah, no, you're busy, Jeff. I see you all the time doing like classes, tips, this show. So I mean,
Yes, sir.
you're
Been doing seminars, all kinds of stuff. So
juggling,
yeah.
man, juggling. It's great.
It's been a crazy day. I'm gonna tell you, my day's been a roller coaster of up and down stuff with business
You were mentioning
things and all
that.
kinds of stuff, and it's been nuts. So this has been
Jeff's
great.
got the government
relax.
after him.
Yeah, I got the government after me.
Well, I
You're
thought Dingman was the one with all the energy because he's all like amped up, but really, I think it's you deep down inside, man.
It's because I stay chill a little bit more, and then
That's it, man. That's it. That's it.
I don't gas out, right?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
it's-
man.
I gas out. I do. Not gonna lie. My daughter gets the best of me sometimes. But speaking of, I gotta tell you this. Hey, my daughter is, for some reason, in love with scooters, like a little kick scooter and going around. So she wakes me up at 5 a.m. It's not an exaggeration, I promise you. 5 a.m. every morning. We go, scooter ride, daddy, scooter ride, daddy. So I had to get one. So like I found one, like my mother-in-law had like a couple of extra, like those Razor scooters.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was about to ask you. You're talking about razors, like those type of things,
Yeah,
2 wheels,
yeah,
handlebars,
yeah.
all that stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, those things are evil. I hate them. All right. So I know why they're called Razor, because when you go over the smallest little divot or bump, it spins around into your shin bone, and now I can't even wear shorts outside because it's not even just my shin. Like it took a chunk out of my calf. Like both of them.
Wow.
It's messed up. I hate them. But every morning, 5 a.m., a scooter ride, daddy.
Man, we get to a
Wow.
certain age that I think that's just gonna like happen, even if you don't want it to. We're not as athletic as I think we were. I
Oh
guess.
yeah.
'Cause I just-
As what we think. Yeah.
I do silly
Yeah.
things all the time too nowadays, man. All the time. Same thing, man, with the scooter too. I've eaten it many times on the razors, and it always tends to have like some kind of magnet to always hit shins for some reason. Shin tends to be the number one, culprit that gets hit.
But for some reason, my 3-year-old, who's faster than me, never seems to fall. How is it I'm falling? She never falls. What are you gonna do? It's a great day.
We're getting older, man. Dude. We're getting older. That's it. That's all I can say.
All right, so Mike, man, after you did the interview with us, man, you were busy. Everyone was wanting you, man. So it was cool seeing you with Raymond on Sport Martial Arts, seeing you in different, just all kinds of stuff, man. So it's been cool. So what was your favorite part about, just doing the interview with us in the show?
Well, just how we just sat back and I felt like it was just a bunch of guys just shooting it, just talking about what we enjoy. And I mean, it was very natural. I don't think we really kind of like today, we really didn't have a plan. We just kind of roll with whatever. And it was interesting that I couldn't believe, I think my wife, my kid, they must've knocked on the door about 5 or 6 times. I'm thinking Alex's wife too, right? Didn't his wife come a couple times? I mean, before you know it, it was 90 minutes down, and I'm like, where did the time go?
Yeah.
But I mean, I would say just how cool it is to just chum it up with people that have the same common interests and passion.
Right.
And like I said, we were just rolling, and before you know it, I'm like, dang, we took up a lot of time, real quick.
Yeah, man. It was lots of fun. I know for me, certain things I wanted you to get into, you did. Or I was thinking I was about to ask you and you started going. I was like, all right, I didn't even have to ask you because it was like you're reading my mind. But talking about the West Coast stuff, because that was one of the things that Alex and I wanted to talk about more. And I had gotten several messages from friends from the West Coast like, hey, man, we need to hear a West Coast story. We need to hear that side. And that's one of our goals, for the upcoming years, getting more women involved and getting some more West Coast and different states and Texas and different areas, involved. So that was cool to hear you talk about that. So.
Mike, one of the things I'm sorry, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, I've just been fortunate enough and blessed to live on both coasts and see, both cultures, and it's very different. And I think it's also one of the things that I gotta thank that I had the opportunity to do, because I feel like it helped mold me to be the fighter that I am. I mean, I think being an East Coast guy, I had to deal with a lot of kickers because 2 points over here on the West Coast, only being a point, you got to really pick and choose your kicks. And it just made me a lot more tactical. So like I said, I think I appreciate both coasts. But, yeah, there's definitely a different aura from the West Coast to the East Coast with just the people you deal with, the things that go on outside of the ring and all that type of stuff. So, I enjoy hearing it too when I was coming up and listening to all the fighters coming up. So, I mean, I don't see why I wouldn't do the same when people ask me about what I have experienced, to put it out there. And I'm sure there's a lot of stories that I forgot too, because there's been many, interesting things that have happened.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, I that's the same that we were just talking about. Have we told all of our stories yet? Probably not,
No.
But sometimes we were like, wait a minute, have I already said this? Have I done this already or not? And
I think that sometimes, and I just tell it anyway.
Yeah. So sometimes we've heard the same Alex Demon story about 4 times, but it's okay.
Yeah, probably.
You're that friend. You're that friend that always tells the same story all the time. You just let it happen because it's everyone has that friend, right, Mike?
Oh man.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
I'm sure I'm one of those guys too, man. And I'm trying my best not to just ramble today, because I know sometimes I'll start, getting all passionate, and then all of a sudden before you know it, I'm taking over. So I don't want to do that today.
Hey, it's all fun.
Go for it.
Yeah.
But no, man, it's the 1 year anniversary. This is your show. I came here to be a part of it. I'm blessed and honored that you guys, hit me up and told me to come on and be on.
Yeah, man. We're hoping that we have another one on soon that we'll share with you as well. But what?
I got a question quick. So after we did the show, I started thinking about it. Like a few days later, a couple weeks later, I really started thinking about it. I was like, Mike, you should have a team, or someone should have you as the coach of their team. That should really be a thing.
Right.
What did you think? Have you ever thought about that?
I mean, I used to train people coming up back in the day with Jack, Raymond, and I mean, it would be cool. I'm one of those type of guys. I'm kind of like, I'm like AP. I know that he had, I don't know really what happened with him, and it was a K-Talk. But I type of personality too, where like you either love me or hate me, and I'm that type of person that likes to lead by example. So like, I don't like to hear people make excuses. Just make it happen, because I mean, that's just how I am. And like I said, I'm gonna make. If people are going to be part of a team, there's going to be certain expectations, and like I said, I'm going to lead by example, so that way there is no like, oh, this guy is just a has been, or you know what I mean. No. But that would be cool. I mean, I'd like to be to get involved. One of the reasons why I think I stepped away from karate for a little bit, I'm not as active right now, is just just family stuff. I've always I check out Alfie Lewis's post, and he starts talking about how if he could do anything different, how he would have loved to maybe spend more time with his family. And, that's one of the things in my latter part of my career, I think, why I don't think I was as successful. I mean, I'd get all the way there to the Grands, but maybe I lose to Ross or lose to Jason Tanks Borelli or to Rain, is because ultimately I don't think I was training the same way I was when I was hungry in the 90s. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have a kid. I didn't have you leave and you got all these thoughts. I mean, you want to stay focused on the prize, but at the same time, it's tough doing all those things. It's not impossible. I'm not saying it's impossible. There are people that can do it. Raymond's married now, and he's going to have that type of stuff too. But I mean, his wife gets to travel with him. I don't have that luxury, so it's a total different. So right now, I for the last, I'd say, since my son was born 8 years, I've been focusing on my family life. But, my kid's getting to that age where I'd like to see him do stuff, be more active, and I'd like to get back into it eventually again and make it, a family thing again.
Right.
But, I stepped away from it for a little bit. And, what's funny is actually this year I had a whole bunch of things in place to do after-school programs and do all these satellite programs, and then COVID hit.
And
I hate to say it was kind of a blessing in disguise, because, I mean, this is not the year that I would have liked to dump a lot of money and then have that happen, and then have to deal with all this pivoting and all these things that people are doing. So I guess it was kind of a godsend. But no, I definitely like to get back into it. I miss karate. I'm going to tell you, that's why I think I'm so up to always watching you guys' show. I saw you guys the other day with the Martial Arts Network with Richard. I'm sorry, Richard. Oh my goodness. Travis. I apologize. But talking about Richard too, Richard's got some stuff going on. He's hit me up, asking me some questions on the side. I got some other, like you said, Mallory. I got Apache trying to get me to do interviews. I try to do stuff. Today, I'm happy actually I made it, because we had a little panic today at work. I guess somebody at work tested positive for COVID. So now we got a test tomorrow. So I had to stay a little bit late to kind of, talk to some employees and tell them what was going on tomorrow. And I'm happy. I actually, when I hit you guys up, you said you guys were going to start the show. I'm like, man, I hope I'm not running too late. But
it's all good, man.
I'm the first person, right?
Perfect timing.
Yeah. You're doing great.
It was perfect timing.
Yeah, man.
So I'd love to get back in the karate thing, and coaching. Yeah, definitely would be great. But I love competing too. But it would have to be like a,
who's a guy right now, or lady right now, that you would just think, wow, you know what? I'd like to coach them. And that's not stepping on anybody's toes, saying like, oh, that's not like, I don't know, tampering. It's not, because you're not even coaching anybody. I'm just curious. Who's a guy or lady that you look at and go, yeah.
I would say somebody like with raw talent, like maybe like a Bailey Murphy. I mean, I think he's good already, but I think there's like just a couple little technical things that if he was to change up, I mean, I think he would have just continued success. I mean, like Raymond Daniels type success. I'm not saying because of me. I'm saying I think if he just had not taking anything away from Joey Greenhall, because I think he's a great coach as well. But I think there's just a few things that I see like in some guys, like, and he's probably one of them, raw talent. There's this other Spanish kid, man. I can't think of his name right now because
Enrique Latona.
Yes, the brothers. He's another one.
That's who I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking of him actually.
He's got great sidekick, but I just think he's got so many other things he could be doing and adding to his arsenal. And he does what he does so well. And I think that's why he doesn't stray. But I think in order for him to have continued success and growth, I think he's going to have to pull out more arsenal. Because I think he reminds me a lot of me too. When I was younger, I was like the same way. Being from the East Coast, I was a kicker.
Kicker.
Went to the West Coast, kick, and then learned my lesson that that's not going to be enough, especially with all these guys working different types of things like groin kicks and, you know, and just shutting down the leg. So yeah, I would say probably just young guys. I wouldn't say somebody like what's Richard's
Avery.
Richard.
Yeah, Avery. Yeah.
I wouldn't say him because I mean I think he's got it already all put together. I mean I think you know I really don't think I could give him much. I mean of course we could always learn something from somebody, but I would rather have somebody that like that raw talent. You know, they are already successful, but I could see just like consistency if those guys would just clean up a few little things or add a little bit, you know, more to their arsenal. I mean, not change much.
So, Mike, someone has a question. David Flores, should they bring back groin kicks?
You know, I personally, I don't like groin kicks. I'm you know, I'm an East Coaster. I moved to the West Coast. I learned groin, and I definitely got to say thank you for groin kicks because it forced me to get really good at my hands.
Right.
But I just, man, I remember I was like, for a year, maybe a year and a half, I was about to go get tested because me and my wife were trying to have a kid, and you know we weren't sure if it was me. I was thinking like, man, I've taken a lot of groin kicks, even when groin wasn't a point. I had like some kind of magnet, but I think it's because you're, you know, again,
kicker,
going back to being a kicker, you lift your leg up, and that's just the game. And I've taken a lot of groin kicks, and I really thought that was part of it. But yeah, I don't believe in that. I definitely believe in clean technique, but I don't believe in the reality of like, oh, well, if you kick someone in the groin, but man, same thing with the leg. You know, I would take out the support leg too, and I don't mean sweep. You know what I mean?
Right.
I would try to bust the leg too. So I mean, you can't sit there and say, you know, oh, it's not. You know, this is a sport. This is sport karate. Again, I don't like some of the tag type stuff. I like more of the cleaner technique. If you fall, no point. You got to stay balanced and all that type of stuff. And I don't mean guys that are like going to run through and tackle you after you score. I'm talking about guys that are doing the falling stuff or the diving and, you know, horrible balance. You know, that stuff I don't like, you know, but like I said, groin, I definitely, I don't think there's really any reason to do groin. I would take it out. And I think it's another reason why would parents want their kids to do a tournament of groin? Groin was the point. I just don't think it's spectator or competitor friendly either one.
There's no martial arts combat.
No, nothing.
That does the groin.
Now,
and David's asked this question. He's been persistent with this. I will give him that. But you know what? You mentioned something that, like, you know, like even when it wasn't a point, you know, sometimes I would get it. There are some fighters, for some reason, they're just a magnet for getting kicked in the groin. There's some people where it's like every fight almost they're taking a shot.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than a front ball of the foot kick right to the groin. I thought like a little slapper or a scoop, but dude, there's people like Marty Eubanks, Barry Gordon that like. They would not just do it once. They were good and consistent with that. And another one is Jerry Fontanez. He would do the Bronco kick. I remember he would fake. Guys would get that leg up, and he would just look and lean away. And he wouldn't even turn, and his leg would just come up with the heel. And just you'd see people just drop like they got knocked out. I mean, I just no. Yeah, I'm literally reacting, thinking about
because you're feeling what it felt like.
Yeah, you just reminded me of one I got, and it was the worst ever. It was like I had my chamber above someone, and I went to psychic them, and they psychic right underneath like my heel, and it dragged all the way from the heel all the way to the other leg. Yeah, and I had like burn, like rug burn, but it was not rug burn all there. It was bad.
Yeah, I feel like my butt pinching every time we talk, like about like the groin shots, like you know, because I just
Carlos Tierney just said, "I believe you groin kicked me once."
He's a kicker.
Yeah, that might have happened.
Dude, he's a kicker, and he's a damn good kicker, and he's what? I mean, he's solid 200. I mean, now, obviously we're not the fighting weight that we were, but when he was fighting, what was he, like maybe 185, 200, solid, tall, great. I mean, when I say kicker, he didn't just slap.
No, he did.
He
all.
Yeah, so I mean, I would groin kick him to death to try to maybe make him not kick. You know what I mean? But I would say, I would listen. If groin's a point, I'm a fighter. I'm gonna do whatever. But when you ask me an opinion, if I like groin,
Los was interesting.
Fighting Carlos Tierney, yes, but no, groin. I'm not into it.
Los was an interesting fighter. I remember saying like in the early 2000s, probably like 2002 or 3, and just thinking like that is a physical specimen. He's just like you mentioned it, like he's huge, and he's fast, he's strong. He can do all of the kicks. He could kick like a lightweight or middleweight, but he was clearly the biggest, strongest guy in the building. And I remember thinking like, who's gonna handle this?
Right.
And then I remember he fought one of my buddies, BJ Carnahan, and I remember thinking like, I got to see how this plays out. He beat BJ. BJ hit him once really hard, and I wanted to see what happened. Like, what's he gonna do? Oh yeah, Los just furrowed brow and just stood his ground, swung right back, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. The guy
he's underrated for sure. I mean, he's underrated. He was and still is when he wants to go out there and compete at the level, and in his age class right now. But even if he wanted to get back into it, man, he's definitely, like you said, not only a good athlete, but he was the type of guy that you can't rock, you can't shake, you can't sit there and think I'm going to hit him hard.
Heck no.
He's actually like, oh. Like that? Okay, cool.
Right.
That's your style.
I remember just telling everyone on Elite, like in like 97, 98, that, hey, this guy you need to get, because I was the only one going to NBL events. So I was like, hey, but they're not going to listen to a 13, 14-year-old kid, But
I didn't like fight. I didn't like fighting him. And I remember him and Raymond would team up sometimes. And I think him, Raymond, and Jotty one time. Didn't they fight for like Bay Area's best at Super Grands? Like
no, that was Damon, Carlos, and Jotty.
Okay.
And that was at
still solid.
Yeah, San Jose. Yeah, that was what the Buhisans tournament they used to have out there, Greater American. And so that was crazy. When I saw that and then I saw it in the magazine, I was like, what in the world? This is crazy.
It's just not fair. It's just not fair.
Yeah.
See that?
They fought Raymond though, but they fought.
I thought about this.
That Go ahead.
And we've all kind of like thought about it a little bit, but I mean, really, if you think about it right now, like it would be really fun to just see, all right, everybody from your state, you team up, you pick a team from your state, and then we go. What would that be like? Hey, what would California's team be like? You had California's. All-time 5.
Well, all-time? Well, that's hard.
Yeah, it's tough, though, because, I mean,
maybe.
Can we count Nasty? Because, I mean, I don't know if he was born here, but I know he trained with Chicken Gabriel. I mean, you got him and Raymond, arguably the top 2 overall fighters ever of all time. Jack.
Has to be one of those.
There's a guy that people forget about. I believe his name is Sean Adams from the Bay Area that people forget.
Yes.
There's like, I mean, I'm just trying to. I'm going heavyweights. I'm going to go like old school. Satch. He was another great fighter. I'm trying not to put myself in there because I mean, technically, I'm not California. I mean, I moved here, but I mean,
you said you moved there when you were 18.
Yeah, but I mean,
so then technically, don't you have more years in California than you do?
Yes, but I'm talking about mostly. Like I said, I don't think Nasty was born here, so technically, but all those other guys were born here, so I would consider them all like really, California. I moved here by choice. So I mean, if I decide to move back east, again, for whatever reason.
Some of the other names people were mentioning are Pacheco, Woody Sims, Drew. Oh man, there's so many.
Yeah.
I was
Ray
going to say
Wizard.
Drew too, and Pacheco. Definitely Alvin Prouder. I mean, shoot, I didn't even think about him.
I shared a video of him the other day. Oh my God.
Yeah, all right, so look at that. So if you look at, all right, you take just because I don't know, we just happened to talk about it. So California's top 5. Is there any other states like all-time top 5 that could contend with that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, Richard's got a pretty good stable over there. Richard, right? You got his son. You know, if you can have everybody in their prime, you got Lump Lump, right? You have shoot. I'm trying to think of all those other fighters that he has because he's had a plethora of guys.
There's some good ones. There's some good ones.
I would say, you know. So I mean, you got them.
Ski. Yep.
There's a lot of guys. I mean, I'm trying to think
Travis.
New York's got some great competitors.
New York is definitely in there.
Texas
Boston.
has some great competitors.
Florida.
Again, I mean, if you're thinking about all time, you know what I mean? From back in the day, full contact fighters. Shoot. So, I mean, yeah, I would say there's some states that definitely could compete. I mean, for sure. I mean, California's had a lot of talent, but I think over the years there's been talent in other spots. You know what I mean? As well as Minnesota, you guys had a lot of people coming up too. You know, from the
right.
We had a blip where it was like a blitz. It all happened at once, and then it all went away at once at the same time.
Yeah.
But
well,
here's an interesting thing. I was talking to somebody last night, and I actually have just as many years in Illinois competing as I did in Minnesota.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? So, but that's the same kind of thing though, like with you, Mike. Like you don't even consider yourself like a California, but you are.
But I mean, I don't know because I don't live there. But that's kind of like Midwestish. Is it very similar or is it very different?
Oh, the culture is way different.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There was a time I would say in Minnesota, like at that time, kind of what you were thinking of, where like, yeah, I mean, whoever was in Minnesota at that time who was competing a lot. I mean, like, they could go anywhere and they could win. But in Chicago, man, it's
I was gonna say. I know if we're talking about Chicago, it's different.
Chicago was that way too, man. They have a great
world.
Chicago's a different entity. Chicago's different from I think the rest of Illinois.
I've
been at some other spots. Chicago's
Illinois, and then there's Chicago.
Yeah, it's its whole entity, and it's unfortunate. They have a lot of like murders going on over there right now, don't they? I mean, am I wrong?
Right.
It's a lot of bad stuff
you're right.
going on over there. So, but I mean, you know, but then they got a lot of talented people that came from over there as well. You know,
yeah.
And a lot of them came from Larry Tankston too.
Yes, they did. Yep. And then you have Scorpions group as well. So I mean, it's crazy.
Tankson, right?
Yep. I mean, that's a great group there.
You're talking about Florida, Scorpion Barrage, Florida's got a lot of people too, but I mean, I think a lot of people have moved there too. I could be wrong.
Right.
You start. I mean, if you start adding all the Venezuelans now they got over there too.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what? That's
true.
Solid.
I would just say, just look at Massachusetts and just look at Boston Taekwondo. And just,
I was about to say, just look at Boston
in one
Taekwondo.
Area. In one area.
You could just say that. All right. Boston Taekwondo versus the world.
Billy Blanks, John Payton. Yeah, I mean, Pedro. There's definitely some really, really good fighters. I mean, you know, I'm sure I'm missing a lot. I mean, Maryland, D.C.
Right.
I mean,
at one point, Virginia had, I mean, the best of forms and fighting at one area, you know, just with DKT and the way that they did in Prestige.
I just think, like you said over there, Alex, some states have had it spread out, and some states have just been consistent. Yeah. More consistent. I don't want to say consistent. More consistent.
Correct.
So, but like you said, there's been some spurts where it's like, oh, wow, you know, they've had like, remember that era where they had like a plethora of guys from here.
You just had like 8-9 years where it was like constantly going. Then all of a sudden it's just, there it goes.
But that's the great thing about, you know, the talent everywhere and the different styles. And, you know, I mean, even going to, where is it? Ohio, you know, fighter, another underrated fighter is Chris McBride.
Chris McBride.
Forget that guy. I remember going with him to Waco and he won both point and continuous gold medals, which, you know, I don't know if anybody's done that since. I haven't really been following, but that's, you know, it's pretty hard. It's two different states, different styles.
It's completely
what I mean? Doing continuous and point. I mean, it's not the same thing. So, and like I said, he was one of those. I remember he lived out here on the West Coast for a while. He did a lot of. He had a deal with BKF for a while too, and all that type of stuff.
Did you ever do continuous?
I did continuous for a little bit. You know, I didn't see the worth in it when you're getting paid like nothing, you know, to like.
Well, yeah, there was no prize money in it. So, yeah, I think that was the biggest issue.
I mean, continuous is basically full contact.
It's a little bit different.
Not.
But
it's
the
not.
Full contact. The full contact's crazy. To me, those guys that go out there all out for a medal is crazy. But then you hear like Russia, like if they win a gold medal, like they get like money from their country, they'll buy them a house or like, you know what I mean? So yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yeah. I'll do that. Yeah.
Too. But I mean, here in USA, if you go, you got to sponsor yourself to go.
So tell me this. So tell me, this is kind of when I looked at it, you know, like the continuous or like kick light versus full contact. Like full contact, like they're another animal. Like they're like kind of like you said. But like I looked at like continuous or kick light, kind of like, all right, well this is full contact for people who aren't training full contact, but are really good to go full contact.
I've heard him actually call excessive contact though with that. So that's why. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen it before where guys get a little bit rowdy and start like, you know, laying in because they don't wear boxing gloves. I don't think either. No. I mean, they do wear a different type of glove.
It's like 4 ounce or something.
Yeah,
like that.
It's not like the box. Yeah, it's not. So I don't think they really want you to start teeing off on the dude either.
Correct.
You know what I mean? And I forget.
But then
I think they do a 10-9. I think they do a like kickboxing, if I'm not mistaken, too. Like 10-9.
Oh, like a 10-point must?
I believe it's who controls, like the judges look and who they feel control the fight.
They do that. Yeah.
I don't think it's like I don't want to. Don't quote.
It's not like NBL.
NBL, right? No. Where they would click and it's something like that. I think they just sit there and it's an opinion thing basically. We took the round.
Let's see. We're getting some people on coming up as well. One other person that I always thought was one of the best continuous fighters ever was Brian Schwartz, and he was from California. And he was one of the few sponsored like continuous fighters.
Hey, legend, turn on your video.
Yeah, turn your video, man.
Hold up, I'm trying to get it.
AP. I was actually showing my wife. There he is. What's up?
Mike Pombeiro.
How we doing, AP? I was actually showing my wife. I'm doing great. I was showing my wife a video because I had word that you were going to be on tonight. And I had showed her the video from Bluegrass when I was a young buck trying to chase AP, and I was surprised.
Hey, I was an old buck trying to keep you off of me.
I was surprised because they were like, "Man, you were going after him." And the funny thing is, he was just pulling out the carpet. I was like 9 times out of 10 reaching because he would just take one step back and be like 10 feet out of the way, and I'm trying to watch out for his counter punches because if you know AP, he don't hit light.
No.
You know?
No. Oh man.
Hey, I hit right now, man.
Oh man. How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. So yeah, if you don't know, we're celebrating our 1-year anniversary, so we wanted to have several different people on. So
and that's why I dressed for the occasion.
Yes, he did. He had his tie.
You see what I'm dressed on my occasion. I mean,
yeah. Oh man. So here's one thing. We never got to do this. So after one interview, AP gave me a phone call. So let's share that while you're on right now, because our interviews with Mike P and our interviews with AP were amazing, so much fun, and
some of the best.
And then it's great to hear when maybe they listen to some of the other ones, because that's actually how we kind of got talking with Mike. We were he listened to the year 2000 episode, the part 1, part 2. He's like, man, you guys brought out a lot of memories, and so all right, let's bring you on. And so let's share AP with what our conversation was like, or what you wanted to address.
Oh, you talking
about the Jerry Fontenez
interview? Well, I mean, to set the record straight, is that it's not that we didn't want to fight them, because that's not the issue. The issue is that I think the tournament promoter wanted to change the rules.
Now, when you say fight them, let's just recap. What were the teams again?
Well, the American Airlines team, we had a set match at the Diamond Nationals with them to fight them in the nighttime finals. So when we were getting ready to fight, apparently the rules got changed. They wanted to match everybody up according to weight classes, which, like a lightweight, fight a lightweight, and so on. Well, our coach, Chuck Merriman, he didn't want to do that. I mean, he wanted to put our squad out there, which was the 5 heavyweights or light heavyweights or heavy hitters. Yeah. And they were going back and forth, with that, with the rules and everything. And Coach Merriman said, no, I want to put my 5 heavyweights out there. That's what we've been doing the whole time that we were all together as the Atlantic Trans-World War Karate team. So apparently they didn't want to do that. So Chuck Merriman said, come on, guys, let's get off the stage. So we walked off the stage. It's not that we didn't want to fight them.
Right.
Hell, we had fought them in the divisions. So they liked that. We were scared of, trust me, I'm going to put my face right in here. We were not scared of anybody. So let's get that out there. We were not scared of anybody. You can ask Richard, Terry, Billy.
Yeah, what were the 5 heavyweights that Chuck wanted to put out?
Well, he wanted
likely.
Okay, the 5 guys were myself, Terry Kramer, Richard Plowden, Billy Blanks, and Steve Nasty Anderson.
God.
Dang.
Just
Hello?
Would you ever? Yeah. Would you ever want to go against that, Mike?
So let's be real about that. I mean,
I'd say 3 of those guys are like in my top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. At least maybe 4, but at least 3 for sure.
Nice.
I mean, yeah, they're all a tough squad, and then have all heavyweights. And in my opinion, and as a tournament promoter, I mean, wouldn't you want to have the best guys up there? Like, I mean,
correct.
not.
Right, think about it, Mike. When you were when you were with John Paul Mitchell, you want yourself, Pedro Xavier, and whoever else who is one of the top guys on your team.
Depending on the year.
On a 3-man team, that's what you want. You don't want.
And I think you also want the freedom of matchups. I mean, that's really what makes the team fighting exciting is the matchups. You know what I mean? And sometimes it's matchups, and sometimes it's I don't like that guy, and that's who I want to fight.
Right.
Yeah.
See, me and Mike, we're on the same page. We know.
Of course.
So, I mean, that was, you have to remember, back then it was 5-man team. It wasn't 3-man team.
Right.
But, they wanted to change it by weight classes, like a lightweight fight. And it's not that and the crazy part about it, it's not like that we couldn't do it, because we could have sent Tony Young out. We could have sent Moff, Chip Wright. I mean, we could have sent,
it's just a crazy team.
That, but that's not
you
what
could
it
have
was
done it,
originally.
and you could have done it and still won.
Right.
But you shouldn't have had to.
Right.
Because
the original agreement is our 5 against their top 5.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who are their top 5?
Well, I guess, like I said, I really didn't know their team that much. It's been, we talking about something like 30-some years ago?
Yeah.
So I know Jerry Fontanez and, maybe Vernon Johnson and some of the other guys. I fought Vernon for the ring that night, so that was my first ring winning against Vernon Johnson. So it's not like we were scared of anybody. We're not scared of anybody.
This is 88.
Think about it. I'm not going to – we're not scared. I know I wasn't scared of nobody.
That's right.
Trust me. I fought all those guys. I fought Vernon. I fought Jerry. I fought all of the guys on their team anyway. Most of the guys were in the light heavy. At that time, I was competing as a light heavyweight. So we wouldn't – come on, man. This yeah. After I talked to Richard Plowden, right after I talked to you, and Richard just laughed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I mean, everyone has their twist on things, so. But it was a good interview, though.
And Jerry Fontanez could be right on here right now, and I'll tell him, hey.
Yeah.
You know, there's
Jeff,
two sides
send
to
him the
every
link.
story. There's two sides to every story.
Send him the link.
And Coach Merriman, who's one of the greatest coaches of all time. You know, he's one of my top 3 coaches, you know, of all time.
Yep.
And he, you know, Chuck Merriman, you know, he was a rules guy. You know, he goes by the rules. The original agreement was us 5, you know, to fight against whoever they wanted to fight. They want, apparently I don't know if the tournament promoter wanted to change it or they wanted to change it. So, I mean, I don't know. I haven't. And to be honest with you, I don't care because that was 30-some years ago. Come on. I don't care about that. Well,
Richard, put on your your video, buddy. So,
all right.
Look at your background.
That happened 30-some years ago.
Yes, sir.
Now, wait,
we weren't scared. No, let's just get. I'm gonna get the record straight. We weren't scared of anybody. We fought everybody. We fought all different teams. We weren't scared of nobody. So come on, we would have fought them. We fought them in the division. Come on.
That's right. That's right.
Let's go.
Man.
So I got a question. That was a set fight.
Yeah.
We got a set fight coming up this weekend. That's happening.
Yeah,
I got to tell you, man, I am so excited about this. Jesse Ray has a set fight going on, and there's some really good matchups that I'm really interested in. So let's look. Jeff, let's walk through what are the fights.
Let's look at the top ones. Cause I don't know. I mean, maybe they know.
Richard, how's it going, buddy? Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, Richard.
Hey,
I didn't mean to monopolize.
Richard.
No, you're good. Hey, how you doing?
I see Richard slide in here. He didn't say he's seen it with some heat coming on.
Yeah, I know.
A little bit. So,
But
Richard, it was old heat though. You talking about something that they brought up was like 33 years ago?
Something like that. Richard,
19,
we invited Richard on because he listens to the show like every week, and so we wanted to have some of our listeners on, and also he just had his tournament over the weekend.
Yeah.
So congratulations, man, on that and taking that first step. And trying something, right now.
Hey, don't forget we got the GOAT on here too, Mike Pombeiro.
Of course. The man.
Yeah.
So this is a good topic right now to talk about the set fights that Jesse's doing this weekend. You got your ticket today, right, Alex?
I got my ticket.
Yeah, I got mine last night. So
you said there's a ticket you have to buy?
Yeah.
It's a pay-per-view.
To stream. So it's like, you buy your ticket to stream the fights.
Yeah.
So how much are the tickets?
It's like $20.
It's like $20 bucks. $25 bucks. I know.
Yes. Yeah. So we got the main one will be Bailey Murphy versus Tyreek Saint. So that's going to be, a great fight. Those guys always fight strong, but they're like best buddies. So it's interesting. Have you seen those fight? Oh, yes. And we got 3 rounds. So remember, guys, like that's going to change things. So what do you guys – I would love to hear everyone.
So 3 2-minute rounds, and I think it's either 30 seconds or 1 minute in between each round. Mm-hmm. And then the point – it's just real points. 1 point kick to the body. If you jump, it adds a point to if you jump and kick, like if you jump and kick to the body or jump spinning kick to the body, you get 2. Jeff, is there a 3-point kick? I'm not sure that there's even a 3-point.
Jump spin.
So if you jump spin kick to the head, it's 3.
Yep.
How does the refereeing work? Is there going to be referees there?
But the referees are under wraps. We don't know who the referees are yet. What we've been
told, they'll be there though, right?
They'll be there.
Yeah.
What we've been told is that everybody's paid, and Jesse's putting it right out of his own pocketbook.
Right.
He's paying everybody, which is awesome.
Here's another thing that's different that we learned the other night. All the fights are happening in New York, which is Bailey and Tyreek, Angel versus Pro, and then was it Stan versus is it D? Is that his name? D, right? Or I always mess up.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Thanks, Travis. Yes. And so those 3 are actually going to be in a cage. So.
Okay.
So a cage. Yeah. So we're going to have point fighting in a cage in New York. But the Ryan George versus Kevin Walker fight is going to be down in Georgia. and that would be in a big, like ring type.
Is it going to be in a karate school?
I think
The
so.
location's not known, so it's a possibility.
Okay, so the location of that one is not disclosed yet. I was really interested to see who the officials are going to be, but we don't get to know who they are yet.
We don't get to know. So,
but what are your guys' predictions?
Let's go with that Bailey versus Tyreek one. What does everyone think? Let's go with Mike since he was first one. Then we'll go to Richard, then AP. We got to get the fire at the end, man.
That's a tough one because, like you said, these guys know each other, and when you go in there and you train with each other, and having a spar, it's all about who has a good day. But since I got to go, again, it's a coin toss. I can go either way, but I'll go with the young Bailey. I mean, he's been talking the talk lately, and he's got a few guys that are also competing that night that he's been training with. So I think that helps. That helps a lot. I mean, so
big time.
I'll take him to edge it out.
Awesome. All right, Richard. So you've probably judged them two fighting several times, maybe, or and have watched them for years. What do you think?
I'm gonna have to go with Bailey. I mean, just that first quick step that he's got. That's if he's on that night. There are some times where his get off is not the same as it is the day before, and so. But if his speed is clicking that day, I think he can. It'll be close. It'll be close, but I would have to definitely take Bailey.
Yeah, man. One of my favorite fights I ever seen of them was that Merrick. Was it 2 years ago? I think. Man, I think it was 2019. It was insane. I mean, it must have been like 21 to like 20 or something. It was the craziest
I know which one
fight
you're talking
I've
about
ever
now.
seen. It was just insane. All right, sir. All right, AP. Let's hear it. Uh-oh.
Bailey and Tyreek, what do you got?
Well, I coached Tyreek Saint when I was coaching K-Talk for a year. Bailey is he's awesome. I mean, I'm like Mike. That's going to be hard.
He's gotten them though.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, Tyreek, I refereed, was the center one, actually a few times, and Tyreek had won and Bailey had won. And like Mike said, when you training with the person, it's kind of, you might know what they're going to do, but, I prefer not to train with somebody if I'm going to fight them, to be honest with you. Right. I mean, I'm an old guy, so.
Old school. I was about to say, that's old school mentality right there.
Yeah, when you train with somebody, there's a certain type of, when you fight against them, you have to, I remember I used to fight my teammates, Richard and Terry, Mafia, and Chip and them. But when that bonus money was on the line.
So I think what Anthony's saying is the difference is that he'll punch you in the mouth, but he'll feel bad about it, as opposed to somebody that he doesn't train with.
That's right. Man.
If he trains with you, he'll feel bad about it, and if not, he'll be like, "Well, that's what you get."
That's right.
That's pretty much. But if I had to pick the two, God, Tyreek. I mean, I love Tyreek. When I coached him, he listened. He was like picking my brain. And then on the other hand, I watched Bailey and watch him. I think he's a great human being, great fighter.
Yeah.
God, it's a toss-up, but if I had to pick, I would go with Tyreek. You know, and that's on a slim margin. Because I love both of the kids, man.
Right.
They're both great fighters. I had a feeling that you guys was going to do this. But
hey, it's all right. So Alex and I both picked Tyreek, and usually both of us pick Bailey for things, but we've just kind of based it off that Bailey tells everyone his toughest fight and his biggest rival is Tyreek. And I feel like, there's certain people that Tyreek has not beaten that Bailey can beat, but probably no one has beaten Bailey as much as Tyreek has, as anyone, so.
If they're both on, it's going to be a close fight.
It's going to be good.
real close entertainment. Like I said, I didn't know. I think me and my wife. I think we're gonna pay for that. I want to watch that.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Don't forget hey, after we get finished with this, don't forget to send me the link where we need to pay for that.
Yeah, we'll have someone in the comments and everything put it in too. So, all right, let's just go to the next one because this is kind of like the other headliner. I know everyone knows these two, and then we'll get into some other couple topics before we go. Ryan George versus Kevin Walker. Ryan George versus Kevin Walker. This is a great one. I know I've seen this fight probably 20 times.
Yeah, I've judged them.
Yeah.
This is the headliner for me.
It's happened. Yeah, it's happened at my tournament like 4 times. It's crazy, and so I've known both of these kids since they were growing up.
You should see my wife's face.
Uh-oh.
Tell Reed to come in.
Yeah. So, all right, you go first, AP. We'll go the opposite way this time. All right. So you go first. All right, we know you were picking then. All right, I already know who you're picking.
Well, I'm a WKU person, if you know.
Okay, right.
But Ryan George is the most. Oh my God, the words. I don't have any words for this guy because he's such a great person. I did a seminar at their school about 3 years ago, and if you're going to fight, Ryan is going to fight you. I'm telling you.
Yep.
And just his mannerism, he's not a whiner. He don't complain about calls. He's like a throwback. Hey, Mike Pombeiro, he's like a throwback, man. You know how we didn't complain about calls. You look at the referee, you didn't get the call. You just go back and try to pound him again and make the referee call your point. That's Ryan George. I mean,
Yeah.
So you picking Ryan?
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Same reason.
But Kevin is on my WKU team.
That's all right.
You know, it's gonna be close. I know Kevin is listening. He probably is.
Oh yeah.
I gotta go with Kevin. I'm going with Kevin because Kevin, if Kevin is on and don't and stick with his game plan and fight the Kevin Walker fight.
Right. It's true.
He can win the fight. But I'm gonna tell you this. I have so much love for Ryan George. I do. If I could pick a team, he'd be one of my first fighters that I would call. If I was to hit the lottery tomorrow and get $20 million, I would pay him $20,000 to compete. That's to fight for me. I might pay him more.
Each tournament, man, we're hoping.
I would pick my tournaments. Believe it or not, we would fight international. I wouldn't do that many NASCAR tournaments or NBA.
Correct.
I would do like what Chuck Merriman would do. He would pick the big nice tournaments.
Correct.
So I would pay him more than $20,000. I would pay him if I was hit the lottery.
You'd set it up. You give him $200,000.
I'll pay him $50,000 to compete in.
He's got a family. He needs more than that. You're going to give him
That's
$200,000.
Right.
Oh, I can't get my wife.
You hit the lottery. You got $20 million. What are you worried about?
Well, probably what, $12 million.
Okay, I'll give him $80,000. But that's just basic. Alex Digman.
That's funny.
That's base salary. That's not including bonus.
Oh, all right.
Look at this.
Oh, all right, Richard. Let's
give
hear
you lottery tickets now.
Yeah, I know. All right, Richard. What is your choice?
I got to go with my gut. Like what AP was saying, if Kevin fights his fight, Kevin's IQ is very underrated.
There's the lottery tickets.
Oh man. But I'm gonna go Kevin. Ryan's leg is probably one of the fastest legs I've seen in person. Really, honestly, his front foot when he lifts it up, the quickness, it is extremely fast. Extremely fast. If he gets his front leg going, it's hard to beat him. I don't care who you are. But Kevin's IQ.
Hey, Richard, you refereed him before, and Richard is one of the best referees out there, center referees.
Yes, he is.
Nobody say. He doesn't complain about calls, does he, Richard?
No,
You
no,
don't.
never.
Never
Goes right back to the
complained
line,
about
ready to go. Yeah, but I would have to go with Kevin. I've got the ref Kevin so many years, and his IQ, if he's in it, if his head's in it, he's hard to beat. He will figure you out, and he'll figure a way to beat you. And so I'll have to go with Kevin.
So that's two people going.
What do you got,
All
Coach
right.
Middleweight?
Yes, sir.
Mike?
I got a quick question for AP. I want
sir.
to know if you have a hit list of people that you would love to get back in the ring after refereeing them.
Ooh. Yes, he does.
AP talking about people not complaining. I know he really wants to talk about the people that do complain and how much he left to gear up. And
This is great.
See, Alex and Jeff, they know it's confidential, but I'll tell you after this is all over. And I think is Travis on here?
Travis is behind the scenes. He's
Well,
definitely
Travis knows
listening.
Yes, I'm here.
Let's talk about that after the show. Yes, I do. I'll tell you one thing. If I was about 40 years younger, ooh.
Oh man! All right, let's hear your choice, Mike.
I'm going to say, I've trained with Kevin. I've watched Ryan George a little bit. I haven't really seen him ever in person, so it's hard for me to really judge him. But with Kevin, I really think, for him, it's up to him. If he shows up and stays tactical, fights smart, sticks to what he, from all the experience, from all the people he's trained with, all the different tournaments he's gone to, if he sticks to the game plan, I think he'll do well. I think if he lets his emotions get the best of him, so hint, there, Ryan George, I think if you can, just like AP said, don't get rattled if he's down. That's the one thing that I've noticed also about Ryan George, not only not complaining, but if he's down 4 or 5 points, he's the type of kid that doesn't let that rattle him and keeps plucking away.
Yeah.
Where I have kind of fight safe, we'll say, and then kind of let people get back in the ball game. So I think it has a lot to do with which Kevin Walker shows up, and also which Ryan George shows up. I mean, like I said, if he stays plugging away and kind of fights at his mind game and lets Kevin's emotions get the best of him, I see Kevin make mental mistakes. But if Kevin sticks to his basics, he's a tough guy to beat, man. He's a tough guy to beat.
The most important part, like you said, Mike, about keeping focus, keeping your eyes on the prize. If you can't complain about calls, man. You got to go back. All of us, as a fighter, you don't get all the calls.
Right.
When I was a center referee, I always brought the fighters together and told them at the beginning, look, you're not going to get every call. So if you're going to sit up here and complain about it and whine and do all the other extra stuff, then you might as well just not fight. Because you're not going to get every call. I didn't get every call. None of us did. Mike, did you get every call?
No, and I was going to say my biggest pet peeve was when my coach, Don Rodriguez, would argue calls. I really hated that. I just kind of felt like it, I understand we're a team and I understand he's a coach and he's doing his job. Mm-hmm. But I feel like, man, I'm a fighter. Let me just do my crap. Let me get the hell.
Right. And sometimes didn't it mess up your rhythm too? You're ready just to go.
I was about to say, man, let me get back out there and just keep going. And then all of a sudden, he's arguing, getting arbitrator time. No. Can we just get back to this? I used to hate that. Biggest pet peeve with coaches and teams and stuff. Just I would look at coach sometimes dude, just let it go. I got you. It's not that.
Especially if you're behind, 2 points, even 3 points, like you said.
And you're catching up.
Right.
Yeah.
You got right. If you got that adrenaline flowing,
yeah.
And, you look around. I know me personally, what I used to do, I used to look around like this real quick. And then if I didn't get the call, then, you do what you got to do.
Right. Right.
But,
well, and you're also letting the other guy get a breath too. If you he's tired, you're wearing him out. And then you're complaining about something. I mean, I've seen it forever being right there on the sidelines, right behind Coach Conroy. So I know.
Wait a minute, Mike, you didn't make a decision.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
It's Kevin's to win or lose. So I think if Kevin goes out there and does this thing, I think he'll he'll do it. So, man, you know what? Just to light a fire up his butt, I'll go Ryan George just to piss off.
Oh, all right. That's an Alex Stingman.
You know what's interesting? When it is an Alex Stingman right there. And you know what's interesting? When I asked you earlier, like, hey, is there anybody you would love to coach? Those two guys, I think, could get a lot from you.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think they'd listen.
Again, I don't know Ryan that well, but I've heard nothing but good things about him, and he seems very old school. And his dad, I know his dad's a great fighter too.
Yeah,
and
yes,
a great.
yes.
But yeah, definitely Kevin. I think I've worked out with Kevin, and he's a sharp brain. I mean, shoot, isn't Tony Young his instructor? I mean,
the
GOAT, Tony Young.
Yeah.
If that guy
fights like his instructor, then he'll be okay. He does. Sometimes Kevin can get a little, reckless sometimes.
Tony scores 1 point on you, and it's over. I mean, he puts 1 point on you. You know how hard it is to get a point on Tony Young? I mean,
tell me about it. I used to play with him.
One point, man. And it might take you the whole 2 minutes to try to get that 1 point back because he's just such a hard fighter, and he don't care. And that's the smart thing about him is that if you were stupid enough to get a little too aggressive and chase, that hole would only get deeper because Tony was so good at sucking you in, chasing him, and all of a sudden, boop, stepping on you again. Just make you feel stupid.
Mike, it's interesting you said that because I watched this one, and I'd never seen it happen ever except for this one time. I watched a fight in 1 2-minute round end 0-0 and score 1 point in overtime, and it was Tony Young. All right. And I'm like this is real? Like this actually happens? Yeah. And Tony won too.
If there was a stat, I think Tony would have won most fights with least points.
Correct. Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean that in a bad way, but I mean
yeah.
And because nobody scores on him.
Right. But that's something I've seen a lot growing up in the South, the Southeast, is guys like that, just winning and low, just waiting and getting that one and boom, that's it,
It's frustrating. It's frustrating when they get up on you.
Mike Geneva's one that used to do that, and he would do that a lot. Would just let people mess up until he wore them out and then get that 1 point and win. So
yeah, play quick, great ring movement. I mean, he was all over the place. He used that ring real well. He's not a guy. But I mean, you were down 1. You had to.
Correct. All right, so
we got
Richard,
2 others.
Yes. Let's go. Those are the main ones. So we'll focus on that because we got more stuff to. This is our 1 year anniversary. Let's get some more things going.
Yeah.
And so Richard, you're one of the top level judges in the sport right now. You're really involved in Pro Mac. You also listen to our show like pretty much every week. And,
he's an insider.
Yes, he's an insider. He's one of the insiders. That's what we call our guys that listen to us. So what was maybe one of your favorite shows that we've done in the past year?
There's every interview, actually, and I'm not sugarcoating everything that you guys do, but I honestly, no BS. Every interview you guys have done the last year, the Jerry one was very interesting, and Joe G, Greenall,
that was a good one.
It was a really, really good one. So that one, and he kept it PG. I was waiting for something to slip from him, but he never slipped, or I didn't catch one. So those were 2 good ones, and then one of my favorite episodes actually was the brawl one.
Yes,
we both said that.
Huh?
Yeah, we both said the same thing.
That was one of my, because unfortunately my family was involved in some of those stuff in the Midwest back in the day. So not that we're real proud of it, but those are definitely bring up some memories of our region.
Which brawl? The brawl one? What are you talking about?
So we had an episode talking about brawls at tournaments, and so we just mentioned so many different ones. And so, go ahead, Richard, what you're talking about.
No, I was just saying that just kind of, I hate to admit that, but it just kind of hit home with me when you guys were talking about brawls, because it doesn't matter if it's a national level event or a regional event. We've all seen a scuffle here and there, and You know what I mean? So it brought back old memories of my childhood is what it did.
Yes,
so
yes.
I feel like I was a
Now, Mike told a story about how he almost ended up after a win about a brawl that he almost had to be a part of that would not have looked favorable.
No.
You remember this story, Mike, when you told us when you had to get out of the bathroom?
Yeah.
You had to climb out the bathroom window.
Actually, I had Bowie, Drew Christian, California native. Him and Alvin really don't like each other for whatever reason, upbringing, for whatever tournaments, I'm sure, and all the other back, story stuff. But I fought Ray Wizard, and I had, he had some street people there from the hood, and I guess they didn't like that I won. And Ray was kind enough actually to tell me, that I probably want to kind of escape out the back door. So I gave Drew my keys, and I slid out one of those windows that kind of like open up like this, and I had to kind of climb over and out the window and kind of duck down. But you trained Chris McBride, right, Anthony? That's your student?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Chris can tell you about some stories that I remember him dealing with BKF as well.
Yeah. Well, I fought Ray. I'm not Ray Wizard, but I fought Drew Christian a bunch of times.
Right. We had a person asking about that in the comments just a second ago, and I was like, yes, you have.
Drew. I mean, Drew was a great fighter. I'm telling you. I fought him the first time back in 1983 at Grandmaster Ed Parker's Internationals for the overall grand, and he beat me. And then the crazy part about it, that's when I was on the Budweiser team. They flew us back out 2 weeks later to fight in the California Nationals. Lou Casamassa's California Nationals, and then I fought him again there and beat him, and didn't get no money for it. So Drew got the $1,000 at the tournament, and they gave the winner up $200. So, but yeah, Drew. I fought Alvin before. I fought. Didn't get a chance to fight Satch.
How about Dexter Brooks?
Oh yeah, I fought Dexter a bunch of times.
Yeah, I remember you sharing that.
Yes, yeah, we was a light heavyweight for a little bit, but wow, I didn't know that you had to do that though, man. That's the BKF was really intense back in them days.
When I would go train with them, it wasn't so much the BKF. They were, we were all martial artists. They opened up their house or their doors to me, and we trained. And we didn't train that much because, like you said, AP, I had to meet those guys a lot, so we didn't really want to train too much. But, we kind of earned respect with training with each other. And then when I'd fight at tournaments, regardless of the outcome, we always had respect. But some of these guys weren't from the best neighborhoods and would bring, people from the streets. And they wanted to do things differently. And, I'd at least be thankful that those guys would give me the heads up, just kind of like, hey, man, just watch how you disappear. So, but yeah, some of the tournaments, I'd be in the hood, Compton, Inglewood. I didn't know any better. I didn't know any better, man.
AP, I got a question for you. Since we're on this topic, there was a brawling incident that I heard a story of that I really don't have details of, and I'm curious if you were there. And I believe the incident started with Ray McCallum and Robert Harris.
No, I wasn't there. Do
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I heard about it, but I wasn't there. I thought you was going to bring up the brawl from 2 years ago, almost a brawl when we was at the Battle of Atlanta. That's what I thought you was going to bring up.
No.
When I was sitting in the chair, we was fighting against the Venezuela team, and I was sitting in the chair, and all of a sudden I seen the whole Venezuela team come at me. Richard, you remember that. I seen him smiling.
Yes, sir.
And I got up to defend myself, but,
Wow.
But Mike, they try to put it on that we were acting like a bunch of thugs, but you have to think about this, and I had to tell Mr. Roof this, and Mr. Carnahan, when you got a bunch of people coming at you, what are you supposed to do?
Right.
I didn't know what they were going to do. Actually, it was Chris Robertson was the main one that was involved in that brawl. And when I seen that, when that wall coming towards me, the first thing I did was got up and got my chair and did like this. That way I wouldn't get hit anything. And then, it was a lot of shoving and stuff, but, they try to make it like we were a bunch of thugs and stuff. but we end up, squashing it, and that happens sometimes in fights.
Right.
I remember one time me and Frank from up in New York, and we became teammates later on. We got
Frank
into
Jones.
a fight. We got Frank Jones. We got into a fight at the Bluegrass Nationals one year in a team fight.
Oh man.
I was on Metro, and we got into a scuffle. It gets like that sometimes.
Right.
That's
right. Or you can have like what we did. We had Nikki and Dottie fighting each other, brawling on stage, and the next year putting them on the same team.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wasn't that the battle like 98?
99, yeah. And then 2000, they were both on Elite. So, yeah.
I remember when Chris McBride and Shaw Austin got into a fight at the Battle of Atlanta. They fought, got knocked out of the ring, both of them. They was on the stage in the team fights and was fighting out in the audience, and then got suspended for 3 tournaments.
Yeah, yeah, right, right.
Wow.
Nobody wants it to happen, but sometimes, it happens. It's all in the, nobody wants to see that, but it's not like it happens all the time. But I wasn't at that, getting back to you.
Alex.
I wasn't there, but I heard about that. Yes.
Okay, well, what do you know about it?
Well, it wasn't too good. That's all I got to say.
Should we not? Obviously, I wasn't there. I wasn't even in martial arts then.
Yeah. Ray McCollum was, you have to remember, Ray McCollum was a beast, man.
Yeah.
Robert Harris was a beast.
Well,
so
Ray's reached out to us about maybe doing an interview. So maybe we should get him on sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, Ray, I've never got a chance to fight Ray McCollum. He was
a lighter weight then. He was like a middleweight.
Yeah, he was like a middleweight. But Ray would fight some, he fought Scorpion Barrage, Nasty. He fought all them guys, and
right.
I've seen him fight before. I've seen him fight at the internationals. He fought out there. And Ray McCollum was a beast, man. I mean, he was a beast. I mean, he's a GOAT. I mean, but I heard him and Robert Harris. Quiet as a cap, I heard that it was some racial stuff involved in that also.
Yeah, I think,
All right,
I've heard that too.
I heard, and you can just give me thumbs up or thumbs down. What I heard is that Ray got a questionable call that was like, all right, you shouldn't have got that. Robert justifiably said, what's up with that, in some kind of way. And then Ray gave some kind of, said something. Yeah. Like, that is basically,
we don't want
something that's emotional.
Right.
Right, we don't want to say,
But there's no coming back from. You have to fight after that point.
Yeah, you have to. I mean,
okay.
I'm not going to lie about it. Like I said, I wasn't there, but I did hear about it. And if you asked me the question, I probably would have did the same thing when Robert Harris did.
Right. Yeah.
And
now, the interesting thing that I heard is that it was almost, I heard from a story, that it was almost like organized. It was like in the hallway, and there was like 5 guys on 5 guys, and it was like 5 white dudes against 5 black, and it was like, we're gonna go till someone dies, basically.
Well, I don't know about that part of it.
That's the one. That's what I want to know.
But
is there anything to that?
What I might have to do, I might have to go to the archives and get in contact with Richard Plowden and ask him about.
He knows everything.
If Nasty was alive, I would have asked Nasty. Yeah. But I did hear that it was, and Robert Harris, and I'm gonna tell you, Robert Harris, you don't want to mess around with. No. Robert Harris was a beast in the ring. I'm telling you, as a full contact fighter and as a point fighter. I never got a chance to fight him, but we were kind of like in the same era. And I've seen, we fought against them in Columbus, Ohio when I was on the Budweiser team. Right. We did fight them on ESPN, actually.
Wow.
So, and you don't want to mess with somebody's manhood. I'm telling you.
All right. So this is what I'm going to do going on.
Okay.
I want everyone to kind of share, who would you guys like for us to, who's one person that you guys would like for us to see interview? And then I want to bring in Travis for us to finish this thing, for us to kind of finish up, maybe us kind of share some things, what we have planned in the works over the next year. So season 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Richard,
right,
what do you think?
Yeah, Richard.
Well, I don't have any names in particular, but just as a promoter now, and just some people that have not been around the sport in a while, maybe a Pedro, somebody that has a school that's still active in martial arts that maybe just doesn't come to tournaments anymore.
Good one.
I don't get to ask those guys a lot of those questions because I depending on where the region is and where they're at, but trying to grab some of those guys that still have schools that still operate and ask them why they got away from tournaments,
Correct.
And maybe there's an underlying issue or something that we can fix. So you guys do great with the interviews, as a promoter, as a fan of the sport, just to try and build us back up and get our numbers back up. I would love to see an interview with somebody like that maybe has stepped aside away from the sport. So no names in particular, but just somebody like that in that fold, I think would be great.
Yeah, Jeff and I reached out. Pedro, this is your formal invitation. You can come on whenever the heck you want.
Yeah.
Yes.
No. I agree.
On that also, try to get some. You have to remember, like when we talked the last time, that a lot of these young people don't know what came before them.
Yes.
I was blessed that to see some of them guys, some of my heroes with Howard Jackson, and the older fighters. And a lot of these kids now, man, they don't know. I remember I was at the battle one year, and I asked a kid about Steve Nasty Anderson. He didn't even know who he was.
Right. I know. It's
Exactly. Everybody should know about Mike Pombeiro. Everybody should know about Pedro Xavier. Everybody should know about this person. Everybody, and I agree with what Richard just said. Get some of these guys that they're not around. They don't really go to tournaments.
And why? Right.
And then ask them why. How come you guys don't really come out and go to the tournaments? Because you have to remember, Alex, for a while, and Jeff, I didn't go to a lot of tournaments.
No,
that's right.
I didn't. And I would love to hear Pedro. Pedro Xavier is one of the greatest fighters of all time. I got a chance to see him at Kevin Thompson's funeral, and we hugged each other, man, and tears was in our eyes, because we hadn't seen each other in so long. And Pedro, and I had a chance to be his teammate when I was on John Paul Mitchell. So, yes, I agree with Richard. Get some of them old guys on here. Everybody knows about some of these new guys, but get some of these new guys. You know? That's what I would do.
Yeah. So, all right, Mike.
I got my wife over here, so
okay.
I only say that not in a bad way, but I say it because she made me think like you guys haven't had many ladies. Like how about some
that's what we talked about.
And we'll go.
Jeff and I have talked about that.
And we'll go old school with it, maybe like a Linda Denley, Dottie White, Nikki Carlson, Shavella.
Definitely the lady. I agree.
Yeah. We said that in the beginning. We were like, this is where we're looking at. We want to have more ladies. And what was the other one I said? I forgot what was the other one I said. But more ladies.
The older people that people wouldn't know about. The people, forget Arlene Lemus. There's a whole bunch of of the older generation ladies. Even Christine, people forget what Christine did. Christine has done a lot of. She was triple threat. She was forms weapon. She'd go do walking, win gold medals in all 3 divisions.
Right.
Or you know what? Maybe even like somebody like, and I like guys that are controversial, like you guys said, Jerry, and even though I don't always agree with what they say. But maybe like an Alfie Lewis. He's another guy that's really interesting.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
It's on his mind.
Yeah. So we, one of a lot of people say it was one of our best interviews was Chelsea Nash interview because we talked about it, actually on CTE, they talked about it, just how it got into mental health and just what she was thinking and everything, And so, I'm excited to see it. I think one of the biggest things though is we have to be able to bridge that gap, right? So maybe if we had like a young one and an old school one on at the same time to kind of bridge that gap a little bit, that may be where we go next. Who knows, But
I think ladies are different. I think ladies are different too. Like me and AP can fight, and we got a lot of respect for each other. But girls, man, they fight, and it's like
and they carry grudges.
They don't have no love. They do not. They do not
carry
care.
They do not.
care.
I was a teammate of both Linda Denley and what's her face? Oh God, we were just talking. You just Shavella.
Yeah.
And let me tell you some stories. I ain't gonna tell you some stories. Look at see, Travis is laughing. He know because his uncle done told him. Woo,
man.
Behind the scenes, bro.
Mike, I think you're right on, Mike. Like the guys, like we could like if any one of us fought each other, and in competition, one of us got knocked out. Like that's just competition.
Yeah.
I mentioned like a couple weeks ago, one of my best friends, BJ Carnahan. He's my competitor of the week. Knocked me out in a finals.
Correct.
On stage. He's still one of my best friends. I was messed up, BJ. You shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, no, guy fighters, you earn each other's respect, and I think lady fighters, they just build more resentment for each other. Why? That's why I hate you.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
All right, Travis, what do you think, my friend?
As far as who you guys should interview?
Yeah.
One person that has been on my mind is Mike Conroy.
Yes.
Conroy is one person who
that'll happen, especially with all of our history.
Yeah, that one is one. Like we talked about it earlier. I thought about the Sage and Kobe, a duel one with them.
Even Trevor Nash. I mean,
I was gonna go Trevor.
Yeah.
I thought about Trevor.
Why not do a double?
I'm a fan of Trevor Nash because Trevor reminds me of me when I was young. Right. Trevor don't care who the hell you are. He tried to.
Right.
He tried.
We talked about that. Jeff and I talked about like if there was like a fantasy matchup of you and Trevor.
Oh,
man!
Y'all did that.
Fireworks.
Yeah, I know. Y'all did that, and I had shivers because I know Trevor's trying to take my head off, and I'm definitely gonna try to get him.
Like you don't try to take no one's head off.
No,
that's right.
I don't do that.
But the last one, a person I thought about, and I don't know, it actually last two, is either Boyce or Larry Carnahan or both.
Oh, Boyce.
Yeah,
it would just be an interesting conversation to hear their history of just from the Diamonds history in general.
Right.
And then Boyce trying to come in and take that whole dynamic would just be interesting conversations.
Well, that'll happen soon as well. Don't worry. I'll make that happen.
I'll make sure that I don't bring me on there because you're gonna be bleeping out a lot of stuff.
But you can listen and
I think a lot of people will be talking about
that. Right.
So me and Boyce, we don't.
Right.
He's one of my unfavored people. He knows that. I told him to his face before.
Yeah. So a lot of people are like that. And for me, I like to, share a little bit of that side, but also the other side too. Because I think there's two perspectives. There's just everybody's perspective on people. And so, I know him in a way a lot of people don't know him, but I also understand exactly what you're saying because I've been in the same shoes. So, it's in the same thing with Larry. I think people feel the same way about him. So it's interesting to just get that history because a lot of us don't know what happened at that 88, 89, 90 kind of range, and kind of dive into that more. It would be really cool. And Jerry kind of hinted at it a little bit, but we didn't really get to that. So,
man. Where are they at now? Remember Seneca Luther?
Yes, he lives in my town. So.
Oh, he does?
Yeah, he's from my area. Yeah. So I would love to get him on. But, I mean, he may not even remember what happened when he was 10, 11 years old. You know what I mean? So.
And that's the other thing. Like, if you're under 40, you would never even know anything about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right. It's crazy. So he was. All right,
Mafia. Mafia is one of those guys that kind of went and disappeared. He wouldn't be a bad interview too.
It's hard to get in. I got his phone number. It's hard to get in contact with him.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah.
I called him, and he still ain't called me back yet.
Yeah.
And Anthony, you and I talked about bringing on Hector sometime too.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
We got so many options.
We just booked all of our interviews for the rest of the year.
Yeah. So
Hector, man, and don't forget Coach Merriman. He's in his 80s.
Yes.
Correct.
So he'll tell you some stories, man, and Ed and Don and Coach Rodriguez. You get
so many.
a coach is perspective about the sport.
The coach idea, he's got too many bad stories on me, so I personally don't want to.
No.
Hey, Mike, trust me, he's got some bad ones on me too.
Yeah, I'm just saying,
Oh man, this is great. This is great. Oh man.
Well, what do you think? Conway doesn't have that on Jeff and I?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think it's to the degree that they're talking about.
That's a good.
But Hector, I'm gonna tell you, Hector will be a good one, man. I talk to Hector at least once a week. He'll call me up and, AP, how come you don't love me no more, Coach? I love you,
Yeah.
Because everybody, a lot of people turned their back on him, man.
Him and Jeff Goldberg.
Yeah,
right? Jeff too.
Jeff was great.
Yeah. Someone said Hakeem and Shah Alston.
Yes.
That would be a good one too. And we talked about having Jeff Smith as well. We talked about having him as well.
Yeah, the GOAT.
Yeah.
Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
Hey, remember Jeff Dawes? He coached us.
He did. He coached us. Yeah, that was awesome, man. That was awesome. I was at his school a few years ago for some seminars and stuff. Great guy.
Yeah.
All right, Travis. Before I know we've kind of gone over like always, but just tell the story of how this kind of happened. What you kind of thought about putting Alex and I together, and then we'll kind of just end it, man.
All right. So the podcast we started back probably May with CTE, and the two people who kept actually you know what, I'm gonna go. What happened was this. So once I was doing this, I always wanted to create the network. That's why I named it the Martial Arts Inner Network, because I didn't want it just to be a show like my podcast or my whatever. I wanted it to be multiple shows and other things that we are going to be working on in the future. So one of the things I kept seeing was it started with Alex. I kept seeing some posts from Alex that were just out there. And I was like, what in the world is he saying? Like, what? I don't understand what the hell he's thinking. I was like, all right, fine. So I started thinking about adding a podcast for him. And when that happened,
I kind of be with somebody else.
Yeah, it was actually supposed to be Mark Quinn in Chicago, because I was still looking at it from the standpoint of Chris and I were in the same building at the same time, and I wanted you guys to be in the same building also. So then, but Jeff kept contacting me on every podcast that we did. And so I was just like, all right. And then in Jeff's knowledge and history, so I was just sitting there trying to think about, because remember, Jeff, we were talking about giving you your own show. Right. And we were just going to have you just doing your own thing.
Talk about events or
whatever
things,
you wanted to do, however you wanted to run the show. And that would have been the third show. Right. But the more I thought about it, I just kept thinking like, no, I think I'm going to do Jeff and Alex. I think I want that dynamic of those two because of how Mike put it. One is laid back and one is turned up. And I just looked at that dynamic and was like, all right, I think this might actually work. And I sent the message to you guys individually just because if one person didn't want to, then I was like,
it's kind of odd. Yeah,
it won't be odd. So I hit both of y'all individually. Y'all both said yeah, and I was like, all right, cool. Let's go ahead and put this thing together, and it works. I don't. The thing I love most about the show is I don't have to do too much work. Like with CT, I got to think about everything we're gonna do. When we were doing Raw, I was thinking a lot of things that we were doing in Raw. When Fist Kick and Flicks, I got to think about how we're gonna set up the movies and stuff like that. But you guys came out the gate and was running with stuff.
You helped us. You helped us at first quite a bit, though.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah. Well, that's what all of the shows. Like, all right, you guys, we can't do it this way. We got to change this a little bit.
But yeah, I mean, we came in with every week we had a plan of what we want to talk about, and then we're like, all right, let's go and just let it happen.
Yeah, and then half of it, y'all would scrap it, and we'd be 5 hours in, and y'all, like, yo, all right, you guys are off topic right now. But that's how the show began. I love the ideas of the competitor of the week. It just fit. It just worked. I'm glad it lasted a whole year. Because a lot of people start things and they don't finish 3 months in. It's done.
Correct.
And because they finally see how much work it is. And so
yeah,
with that being said, and the commitment, because we've had different times we had to change the time we shoot and all this other stuff and timing and everything like that. Life happens. So it just to commit to a whole year is a great thing. And just I think we're starting to do this the right way, and we're getting on, especially with these interviews. Because like I said, I loved a lot of the interviews. But to me, my favorite episode was the Chelsea episode because she was vulnerable in it. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, when she actually was talking about certain things that she went through mentally and emotionally, that just spoke to me in a different way. And it kind of had a different type of effect. I was kind of looking at it from a different eye the whole way through. And I was wondering if she was going to talk about it because I had a theory that might have gone through. And then once she started talking about it, I just really connected with her and understood her a little bit more. So, yeah.
I was hoping she might be on the show tonight too.
Yeah, we were hoping.
But she got busy.
Yeah. So, man, this has been fun. Thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Man, I mean, you guys are just thanks for just sharing the show, listening, and just being a part of it. It's been great. So we're on to season 2 and ready for another year. You ready, Alex?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. It's gonna be exciting.
What'd you say, Mike? Hold on.
Yeah, what'd you say, Mike?
Yeah.
You're muted.
You're muted right now.
I was just saying congratulations to both you guys as well for making it for a year. And, you know, it's definitely, like Travis said, dynamics work with both you guys, just kind of like how you guys are exact opposites. Kind of like a relationship, you know, really how it is.
And
it takes the pressure off. I think having one person host, and it also you guys play so well off each other. You know what I mean? So wishing you guys continued success.
I think I'm the only one Jeff ever yells at. Jeff yells at me. Jeff has openly yelled at me and told me to shut up on the show.
That's right. That's why the next T-shirt we're going to have is going to say, "Shut up, Alex."
Well, it's going to say that. It's going to say, "Shut up, Alex" on there. I'm just letting you know that. It is going to say that. They're getting made.
They're getting made. They're going to be at a sport karate tournament.
I'll wear it.
Near you.
You know what? I'll wear it. I'll wear it all weekend.
You'll wear it proudly.
Your wife will wear it.
Don't even go there. Love you, baby.
What'd you say, Mike?
I said it's all about the merch.
That's right.
If it moves, it moves.
That's
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, man.
Just now we're going to go to a tournament. Everybody's going to have a T-shirt that says "Shut up, Alex" on it.
Yeah.
Right.
That means they're listening to the show.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, man.
There you go. All right.
That sounds good. I'll take it.
All right. Thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah,
Let's go, Alex.
Thank you for inviting me, guys. I really appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Good to
All
see
right,
you.
Alex.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I'm Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss, and happy 1-year anniversary. See you season 2. Thank you, guys.
Yes, peace.